Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with episode number 64 of Explore the Card. You're going to be watching this on Friday. Well, I shouldn't say you're going to be watching this. This will go public on Friday, April 28th, towards the end of the month on a Friday. Busy day in real estate. You guys know that's what I do for a living. But today's episode is about this card right here, and I pulled no punches. It's a banger. It's one of the biggest and the baddest. It is the 1998 Fleer Tradition. This PSA label on your screen is mislabeled. It's technically Fleer Tradition in 1998. They changed the name. Card number 9, Playmakers Theater, no apostrophe. It is not a possessive Playmakers. It is Playmakers plural, Theater, RE, the British way. All of you British collectors and European collectors will love that. The card's serial number to 100. Anytime you're talking about a card of Michael Jordan in a Bulls uniform from the 1990s that is serial numbered, you're talking about a meaningful card, and this one is no exception. This is an absolute humongous card. We'll get to our high, mid, low, grail, and you'll see it is a grail quality card when we look at the pops and prices in every single grade. As always, we start by checking out the set that the card comes from, and so I've got you screen shared with Trading Card Database right here, and we're looking at the checklist. This is kind of what the cards look like. These are a couple plus factor cards up there, but the set is 150 cards, one issue. There's no Series 1, Series 2. Vince, Paul Pierce, and Dirk are the big rookie cards, as we know from the 1998 NBA season. Jordan is base card number 23. Let me see if I can find a picture of it for you. Jordan is base card number 23. There he is right there. Click. Okay, that's what the Jordan base card looks like. Nothing crazy special. It is theoretically a first-year Fleer Tradition. I think they just changed the name because Fleer started to make more products, and so they wanted to differentiate their go-to flagship Fleer product from their new Fleer stuff. And so that's why they kind of transitioned the name in 1988 to Fleer Tradition. At least that's what I was told by some of the OG Jordan collectors. This card that you're looking at in PSA 10 sells for anywhere from 110 to 120 bucks. It's the only card in the 150 card base set that features Jordan, and it is a pop 170. There are only 6 insert sets in a 1998 Fleer Tradition. Let's pull them up so we can look at them together. The only notable ones that include Jordan are Electrifying and Playmakers Theater. He's not in Rookie Rewind because he's not a rookie, obviously. He's not in Timeless Memories. I don't think he's in Great Expectations, is he? I feel like I would have known that. No, he is not. Okay, so only Electrifying and Playmakers Theater. I've already done an Explore the Card episode on Electrifying. It was somewhere back, I think in the maybe 20s or 40s. I don't remember. You'll have to go to the playlist. That's one cool thing about the channel is if you like these Explore the Card episodes that I release on Fridays, you can go back and watch 64 of them. Or 63 others in addition to the one you're watching today. I did one on the Electrifying insert as well. So if you're interested in the other Jordan insert card from 1998 Fleer Tradition, you go back and check that out. There is a cool mail-in redemption, sort of an exchange set called Lucky 13 right here, where it's inserted 1 in 96 packs, and you can send it in and get a Lucky 13 redemption card sent back. Those were corresponding to the lottery pick of the card that you pulled. The parallel sets in here are the Classic 61 and the Vintage 61. Serial numbered to 61 in Classic. The Vintage are just normal, but the Classic 61 are /61, which makes them huge. And I think there's 2 Jordans within this parallel set. Both of those are absolute monster cards as well. Obviously, being serial numbered to 61, you can imagine. As we mentioned, the Playmakers Theater, which we're about to look at, is serial number to 100. The set is comprised of 15 players. 10 of the 15 players are Hall of Famers, which gives us a 67% Hall of Fame rate. There are no real true imposters. There's no Robert Pack in here. There's no Trent Tucker. Van Horn and Antoine Walker are probably the weakest of the 15. But again, Van Horn and Antoine Walker were all-star players and really good players in that era. They just didn't endure like some of the other iconic names on the list. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, the big 3 is all included in here. Shaq, Kobe, and MJ. You got Pippen in here. Karl Malone, KG, Tim Duncan, Ray Allen, Sharif. Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, two very collectible players as well. So no true imposters. I would say Van Horn and Antoine Walker are the two weakest links, and they come in at card number 14 and 15 in the set. Again, this is what the card looks like. The card is kind of a beautiful card. It's got, my understanding is, and again, forgive me, like I said, if I don't have direct knowledge, I try not to speak on matters, but my understanding is that the card has, I think what Beckett calls them is sculptured curtains against a gold holofoil, meaning they're raised off of like there's texture to the curtains in the background, or the frame, whatever you want to call it, in the background, and it's got a back commentary that recaps some of the players' greatest moments, and they are sequentially numbered to 100. And so this is the card we're talking about today. Again, this is probably on a very short list of the greatest Jordan cards in the world. I personally would probably put the card very safely in the top 10 Jordans. Again, we're not talking about one-of-ones. We're talking about actual inserts that are attainable and parallels that are attainable. We'll include the PMG Reds, the Rubies, the PMG Greens, the 98 PMG, all the Rubies, the Legacy collections. This card probably pretty safely fits in a top 10 list of Jordan cards that are out there. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with that. Again, it could fit as high as 4, 5, 6. It could be as low as 15, but I would put it safely in the top 10. That's just me personally. Let's give the people what they want, right? We want to talk about pops and prices. So I've got a little table put together for you for the Playmakers Theater from 1998. And the first thing that's going to stand out to everybody is that there's 3 PSA 10s in the world. The other thing that's going to stand out is that it's worth $216,000. That's how much it sold for in March of 2022. Again, I would consider that a grail level card. That's 1/5 of $1 million. That's 2 Teslas. That's like 7 BMW 3 Series. That's a big number for a basketball card. I think that would put it safely in the upper echelon of 99.9999% of collectors throughout the world. Unfortunately, the people who do own this card in PSA 10, it's probably not in their top 10 cards in their collection, if I had to guess, given some of the guys that are out there. There is, believe it or not, we're going to look at it in a second, there is a PSA 10 for sale out there. So if you're interested and you have 216 laying around, you can go snag the card. Again, Pop 3 in PSA 10, Pop 10 in BGS 9.5. The other thing we need to take note of here is that, as you can see, twice as many are graded by BGS. And I talk about this a lot. And the reason for it is those Jordan cards that were so valuable at the time they were pack pulled would likely have been sent for grading and protection and encasing immediately. And if you were going to send a card to get graded in 1998 that had Michael Jordan on the front and you thought it was worth 4 figures, back then it was probably worth a few $1,000, then you would have sent it to BGS, not PSA. Things have significantly changed. The grading world has shifted significantly over the past 30 years. And so, but this is why many of these cards, many of these Grail type cards were graded in BGS slabs, not PSA slabs. So twice as many graded by BGS as PSA, and 3 times as many gems. As you can see, the gem rate's about double, a little bit less than double for BGS. There's only 3 PSA 9s out there. So between PSA 10 and PSA 9, only 6 to be had. If you're a PSA to the grave kind of dude, you only got 6. If you're a BGS simp, then you've got 22 out there that you can deal with, and 22 out of the 42 actually graded mint or better. So that's a good sign for BGS collectors. Another interesting thing, stay with me here. Let's switch over to column number 5 where it says sold price. That's the last sale price, okay? The last sale price is the highest sale price for the PSA 10, the BGS 9.5, and the PSA 9. Now, you're looking at this and you're like, God damn, that's a big disparity between BGS 9.5 and PSA 9. Well, there's a reason. 2013, 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago, was the last time that we saw a PSA 9 sell. We saw a PSA 10 sell in March of 2022, so about a year ago, a little over a year ago. The last PSA 9 hadn't sold in a decade. The last BGS 9 hasn't sold in 7 years. And so that's why you'll see little 4-figure numbers there. Keeping in mind, like if we go back here to Card Ladder, and we plug in, PSA 9, here's the last one sold, 4,373, but it was in 2013, card ladder estimates with a very low confidence meter, because it's been a freaking decade, that it's worth $45,000. I don't know what it's worth. It might be worth significantly more than that. If you ask me, it probably would be. So 45,000 is what card ladder estimates. For the BGS 9, card ladder estimates 27,000. Again, it might be more than that. I think it probably would be significantly more than that. But going back to our pop table here, how many of these cards have sold in the last 6 months? Only a BGS 9.5. That's it. None of these other cards have sold in the last 6 months, and that 9.5, as we mentioned, went for $84,000, which was a then record for the sale of that card. And if we want to go look at that exact sale, we can. Boom, view all sales. PWCC Premier BGS 9.5. We all thought that thing was going to eclipse the $100,000 mark. It did not, surprisingly. It went for $84,000, which again is less than half of what the PSA 10's worth. But again, it's 3 times the pop, and it was a BGS 9.5 with 2 10 subgrades. I mean, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. There's the front of the card. Here's the back. I always like to read the narrative to you guys. This is one of the few cards that I do not own. I think this might be maybe the second or third time I've done one of these videos where I just don't own the card in any grade, and it's because it's just such a damn monster card. It's just not easy to get your hands on, and so I just don't have one. So my apologies. I can't show you mine because I don't own it, but we can still read the back because PWCC Premier has it right here, and it says it's an image for the ages. Jordan running past or flying over the unfortunate soul who has to guard number 23, driving his way home to 2 more points. You've seen the footage for 13 years, and it still hasn't gotten boring. The air has been earned. And of course, this was card number 74 out of 100 that sold on PWCC. And that was in the March Premier auction. So going back to our pop table, let's wrap this up. The other thing that stands out to me is the pop. This is all of the cards that have been added in each grade of each of these 4 grades since April of 2021. Yes, 2 years ago. The answer is 1 BGS 9 has been added. No 10s, no 9.5s, no PSA 9s, none. Shutout City, no new gem mints. I don't suspect that number is going to change. I can't imagine PSA or BGS throwing another gem mint slab into the mix. That's just my personal opinion. We don't have a lot of average sale prices or a lot of percentage changes to work with. So unlike most of our videos, we can't really track what's going on with the value of this card and whether it's a buy or a sell or a hold time period. The one thing I will say is there is 1 BGS 10 in existence. My God, what is that card worth? There are no BGS black labels, thank God, because it would break the internet. There's 13 combined gems, as you can see on here, and combined, like we mentioned, only 1 has sold in the last 6 months, and it was that BGS 9.5. What's on eBay? Let's check it out. So when I search 1998 Fleer Tradition basketball box, I get 1 hit, and it is this blaster box. That's 8 packs. I don't know if you can pull the Playmakers Theater out of blaster boxes or not. My guess is you probably can't, or it would be worth a lot more than $350. That would be a fun rip nonetheless, I will admit. So that's all you got for you gamblers out there that want to try to rip and pull one. You're not going to get one. Here's a Juwan Howard, just to give you an idea of how much those vintage 61s are worth. This is a Juwan Howard raw vintage 61 that's terribly off center, and it's listed for $350 or best offer. So that just gives you an idea of how valuable that parallel set from 1998 Fleer Tradition is as well. What about if we search Playmakers Theater Jordan? Believe it or not, you get 7 results, but let's go through these because we can filter some. A couple of these are going to be these 2012 retros featuring Jordan in his Carolina uniform. Then for whatever reason, Jordan Eberle pulls up. Even though it's in hockey, I could go click basketball, obviously, and take him out. So let's do that. So now basketball, we've got Jordan Retro, something that has nothing to do with it. And then there's the one, right? So this is the one that's for sale. They're giving you a little $6,000 discount off the last sale, $210,000 for this PSA 10. That is the Playmakers Theater PSA 10. It is card number 63 out of 100, and it is being sold by Alt. So tread carefully and negotiate with them at your pleasure. I forgot to plug this in, and it's because I am naive, but I'm going to plug in the cards that we were going to compare this to. The first card we're going to compare it to is the 1986 Fleer 57 PSA 10 Jordan. You may have heard of this card. This is Jordan's flagship, some people would say rookie card, some people would say the star is the rookie card, whatever. You can say whatever you want, but let's look at it over the last 3 months. This card's actually trending upward, up 28% over the last 3 months, with the last two sales both being at $192,000. That's a Pop 319 card with a gem rate of 1.27. So that's card number one that we're going to compare this Playmakers Theater card to. Card number two that we're going to compare it to is the 1998 Fusion Titanium Jordan BGS 9. I couldn't find any other PSA 10s that were in the $200,000 range, so we had to reach over to the BGS 9 Fusion Titanium. So 40% of many of these were produced as the Playmakers Theater, and as you can see, it's a like a hole punched, or serial numbers were punched into the card, die cut into the card. It's card number blank of 40. Only 40 of these were printed. There's also a Fusion, which I think was printed at 250 right here. Don't confuse those two. Another amazing card, don't get me wrong, but there's a big difference between serial number to 40 and serial number to 250, and so that's why this last one sold in July of last year for $216,000. A few more of these have actually sold. The BGS 9 has sold since 2021, sold 3 times, 198, 208, and then it jumped to 216. So 2 straight upward trends for that card. And then the last card that's around that $200 range is going to be a card that's near and dear to my heart. It is going to be the 1997 Precious Metal Gems Red Jordan Authentic, which we can pull up here with the nasty, ugly Beckett blue label, which they got rid of. I guess you could send this in and get it reslabbed into a new non-blue label, which I would highly recommend. The last one of these sold for $150 in 2020. Card Ladder estimates it's worth $250. I don't know. We'd have to check through. Some of these other grades have sold. The 8.5 sold for $420,000. So it's up to you what you really think the BGS Authentic's worth. Of course, it's a low confidence meter because it's just been so long since the damn card's sold. And each one of these reds tell a different story. And despite what the label says, each one must be graded, must be examined, particularly based upon the card, not so much the grade. So those are your options, right? The PMG Red, the Fusion Titanium numbered to 40, and then the go-to Jordan rookie card, possibly the most iconic sports card in existence. I know Mickey Mantle people and Babe Ruth people and Honus Wagner people and Gretzky and Montana and all those nut jobs are going to go crazy. But I think, again, I'm certainly a basketball guy. I think this is the most recognizable sports card in the entire universe because I think we're trending closer and more towards basketball in recent memory than we are in baseball. And so as we get further and further away from the sport of baseball and into the sport of basketball and further away from 1952 or 1910 or 11 or whatever that Honus Wagner card was, more and more focus will be on certainly the most influential sports icon of all time, and that's Michael Jordan. So that's card number one. In order, what would I want? I've personally always been partial to anything 1997 Metal Universe. So I am going to go here. Number one, far and away, without question, even though it's BGS Authentic. I would have probably walked this through at a national and get this reslabbed into a PSA label. That's just me personally. That's what I would do because I think the red on red looks really good. I did the same thing with a Kobe. If you want to go back in my channel, you can see where at the National in Atlantic City, I took a blue label Kobe and got it relabeled. Was hoping for a numerical number, but it came back as a PSA Authentic. That would be card number one for me. Card number two for me would be the card of the day. It would definitely be this, the Playmakers Theater, serial number to 100. Card number three for me would be the BGS 9 Fusion Titanium because it's just so scarce. It's a Pop 7 as well. And then the last card would be another card that's near and dear to my heart that I happen to own is this PSA 10 86 Fleer number 57 Michael Jordan. It's a Pop 319. The reason this one finishes last is because this is a money issue, right? If I wanted one of these cards, there's almost always one available month after month after month. I don't know if it's always going to be this way, guys, but for right now it is. Maybe in 5 years it won't be. Maybe those cards will be in the hands of a very few number of collectors slash investors, and so you won't see one of these at auction every single month. But for right now, it pretty much is auctioning every single month. If we look at the last year, it sold 32 times in 12 months. So that's 3 a month. If we look at the last 2 years, it sold 58 times in 24 months. That's too many, and that has a lot to do with why it was trending downward. If we look at it over the last 3 months, it sold twice a month, so 6 times, but it is starting to trend a little bit more upwards. So that's my order, guys. Again, on the Cajun cardboard scale of Jordan card relevance, I give the Playmakers Theater a 9.9 out of 10. The only card that I'm ranking higher than this is the PMG red and the PMG green. That's it. The rubies and all those other things are going to be ranked right with it, 9.9. This is as close to crucial and as close to Grail amongst Grails, like literally holy grail level, as you can get without being a PMG red, a 98 PMG, or green PMG. That's my personal opinion on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna go 9.9 on this beautiful Playmakers Theater. PSA 10, or really any grade. Like, this card is just super meaningful, and it would be a super huge pickup for any Jordan collector out there. The card, as we discussed, is grail, 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 grail. No matter what the grade is, the card's going to be worth more than $20,000. Period. End of story. Not even a question. Am I a buy, a sell, or a hold? Well, I can't be a sell because I don't own it, and I wouldn't be anyway. And I can't be a hold because I don't own it. So you guys know I'm a buy. I just don't have 200 grand laying around, unfortunately, or 100 grand laying around. I wish I did, but I don't. Joe Assface Biden recently took a lot of money out of my pocket during tax season. So because of the Assface, I don't have the money laying around that I need to go buy one of these beautiful Jordan cards. But it would be a tough decision between this or a Tesla Model S, but I think I'd probably still go with the Jordan Playmakers Theater if I could get my hands on one. But that's it for today's episode, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you are watching one of these for the first time, like I said, I got 63 others for you guys. Go to my channel, go to the playlist, sort by Explore the Card. You guys can watch them in sequential order, start to finish. It's like a Game of Thrones for basketball cards collectors. Go binge watch it. Go have fun. Go enjoy it. I always thank you guys for watching. I love doing these on Fridays because I think you guys have gotten accustomed to them. All of my videos during the week release at 4:30 p.m. on weekdays. All my weekend videos release at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. So you can, if you're an early riser or a late riser, I'm trying to catch you while you're drinking coffee and you got some time to kill, and start your weekend off right. Again, all of those times are central times, but these Explore the Card episodes come out on Fridays at 4:30 p.m. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I do try to jump back and forth and bounce back and forth from very attainable cards to highly unattainable cards like the one that we looked at today, and I try not to get too much into one groove or another, and I kind of keep you guys on your toes so it appeals a little bit to all sorts of collectors out there on all sorts of budgets. And so this obviously is one of those cards where a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction will ever be able to hold one of these cards in their hand, because as we discussed, there are, 63 in the world in PSA or BGS slabs, and there is 3 in SGC slabs, with 9 being the highest SGC grade. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching. If you like my stuff, hit the subscribe button. It really does help me. I'm trying to bring these to you guys commercial free. I'm not monetizing with YouTube because your enjoyment is more important to me than getting a couple bucks off of a bunch of, Viagra ads in the middle of my deal here. So thank you guys for watching. As always, hope you have an awesome weekend in and out of the hobby. Keep collecting, stay positive, and peace.